Joining us now is skynews.com.au columnist Louise Roberts. Louise, great to see you.
Good to see you, Gabriella.
I want to start with the latest from the Coldplay Kiss Cam drama because Astronomer has now hired actress Gwyneth Paltrow to be a temporary spokesperson following that drama, and she appeared in a short video alluding to the viral moment that Astronomer's former CEO was caught on camera with a woman who was not his wife. Let's take a look.
Thank you for your interest in Astronomer. Hi, I'm Gwyneth Paltrow. I've been hired on a very temporary basis to speak on behalf of the 300-plus employees at Astronomer. Astronomer has gotten a lot of questions over the last few days, and they wanted me to answer the most common ones. Yes, Astronomer is the best place to run Apache Airflow, unifying the experience of running data, ML, and AI pipelines at scale. We've been thrilled so many people have a newfound interest in data workflow automation. As for the other questions we've received, yes, there is still room available at our Beyond Analytics event in September. We will now be returning to what we do best, delivering game-changing results for our customers. Thank you for your interest in Astronomer.
What did you make of this, Louise? Do you think it's a good PR strategy?
I think it's gold standard PR strategy, and that seems to be the view across the board, that what could be better than hiring the ex-wife of Coldplay's lead singer Chris Martin to do your kind of damage repair in a way. And Gwyneth is brilliant because she's so deadpan and droll about it. And even when sort of, you know, addressing questions like what the actual, she answers with a question about data workflow.
Amazing.
Incredible. I mean, I've learnt more about that company than I ever hoped to, in a way. And what it's done is it's really moved them away from the grubbiness of the affair and all the heartbreak into a brand that people will remember well after that scandal has faded, and people will kind of like them because they've been very clever. They've lent into the crisis rather than put out sort of vanilla statements or, you know, told their staff there's nothing to see here, everything's fine. Because, you know, when it happened, we all thought, oh my God, that's the end of that business.
Yes.
So they've been very clever to play it this way and to hire Gwynny, who has just, you know, aced it.
Yeah,
really,
I think you're right. Yeah, she did a great job. Now, actress Sydney Sweeney is facing some heat after her latest brand deal and advertising campaign with American Eagle. The campaign, titled Sydney Sweeney Has Great Genes, has generated mixed reactions on social media. Now, look, many people are happy with the ad. Some are saying that this is, you know, the death of woke ads, but there are also some, probably on the far left, going crazy and going so far to say that this is Nazi propaganda. Look at this.
You guys are complaining about that Sydney Sweeney jeans ad, so I went and saw it. That's Nazi propaganda. Wow. I thought it was going to be, like, kind of bad. That's going to be in history book.
It's interesting to note, though, with all the kind of comments like that are online, the shares of American Eagle actually went up after that Sydney Sweeney ad. But, you know, of course, people will say what they want on social media. What do you make of these comments?
Well, the ads aren't offensive, but the comments are. Anyone who's going to use the Nazi word in this reference and not be talking about World War II or the persecution of Jewish people is making a very obscene and offensive statement to Jewish society and society as a whole. And I mean, it's a play on words. Great genes, you know, denim, great genes, genetic material, and that's all it is. But look, if the spin out is that it's a celebration of the end of woke advertising, I'm all for it, because every ad should be promoting the product, not promoting an agenda about diversity or gender or whatever. So, you know, if the sales have gone up, and amazing. I mean, not surprising, really.
Yeah, of course. Now let's turn to the royal news. A Netflix insider has spoken to the Daily Mail and didn't hold back when it came to Harry and Meghan. The insider claimed that another nail in the coffin for Harry and Meghan Markle's $100 million Netflix deal was that her Napa Valley wine just hasn't been selling. They've also fallen out with A-listers, according to this insider. What more can you tell us?
Well, yes, the wine that Meghan has produced via a vineyard, you can see her in her documentary sipping, you know, the wine when she's sort of making the food and sprinkling on her edible flowers and so forth. It hasn't been selling. There was an initial batch which did sell out, but that was more down to the low volume than the quality or the price point. Apparently it's very expensive as well. And even in Montecito, people are worried about the price of wine, would you believe it? So yeah, this is apparently another nail in the coffin for that Netflix deal, which will finish in September. Although I do think there is a chance that Netflix will try and keep them idly in the background if the relationship changes.
Yes.
Obviously, Netflix want to be right on top of that, as does any publisher or broadcaster on the planet. And also, I think that they're discussing a first option deal. So in the event that Meghan and Harry create something, God forbid, we do actually want to watch, they'll get first option on it. So that's interesting. I don't think Netflix are totally going to cut them loose, but they'll be very clever to keep them close without being contractually obliged to them.
That makes sense. Now, King Charles is reportedly growing wary of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, with royal insiders suggesting that there may be an ulterior motive behind Harry's kind of moves to potentially patch up the relationship with his father. Look, I don't blame King Charles for being cautious. What can you tell us about this one?
I think the royals know, and in particular the King knows, that every meeting and every sort of repatriation with Harry carries a huge risk because every conversation could end up in a podcast or a book, and there's no confidentiality clearly around what's being shared with them and Harry and Meghan. So the fact that the deal's now finished with Netflix, Harry is obviously worried about where the next revenue is coming from. I'm more feeling that the reconciliation is about that rather than any genuine sort of sorry or apology to his family. And on that point, I'm bewildered as to why Harry cannot see that saying sorry in private and publicly has to be the first step in any reconciliation with his family. In any family dispute, people come together and say, I'm sorry for what I said, I forgive you, and then you move on. That has not happened. And I think that's because Harry believes he's in the right.
Yeah, he's the victim.
And the victim as well. And Meghan believes she's in the right as well. So what have they got to say sorry for? Whereas the rest of the world is thinking, you've destroyed that relationship, it is all on you.
Yeah, and it's been so sad to see, and it's unbelievable that even after all these years now, we're at the point where he still hasn't said sorry. I still find it hard to believe.
5 years after Megxit, it's amazing.
Unbelievable. Princess Charlotte and her father, Prince William, have made a surprise appearance in Switzerland to see England's women's soccer team compete in the 2025 Euro finals. What can you tell us about this one?
Yes, they went to Switzerland, dad and daughter, to see the Lionesses thrash Spain, which was great. It was a penalty shootout, which sort of sealed the game. But how wonderful to see Charlotte front and centre at her first international football match with Dad. She met the Lionesses. She also met the Spanish team, and they released a very sort of beautiful joint statement afterwards congratulating the Lionesses on their win. But how cool it is to see her with more sporting angles as well. And I do feel maybe this is part of a bigger plan to, in the future, make her a royal sports ambassador, because of course her father is a patron of the FA, the Football Association, and Mum's very tied in with Wimbledon. So I can see that path for Charlotte, even though she's only a tender age of 10. I really think that's what they'd be planning for her in the future, because that is sport is such a bond between the public and the royal family.
No, that's very exciting. Now, we have a Norwegian princess. Princess Ingrid Alexandra of Norway is in Australia, preparing to start her studies at the University of Sydney. The 21-year-old royal says that she's looking forward to it. It's certainly exciting for us here.
It is to have a royal member at the Sydney University, exactly. She's doing a 3 years Bachelor of Arts with, I believe, a focus on international relations and politics, which will come in quite handy because one day she will be Queen of Norway. She's second in line behind her father, the Crown Prince. But yeah, you can see she's looking very relaxed in jeans and trainers and a sweatshirt and no airs and graces. Apparently she's going to be living in residence as well on site, so no kind of posh flat up the road with the chauffeur taking her to school every day, or taking her to uni every day rather.
Yeah.
So I do think it's lovely that we're seeing royals be as normal as possible. And of course she's following in the footsteps of her grandfather and her father, who also travelled and studied abroad.
Yeah, so. And she's getting the real Australian college experience.
Oh, let's hope so.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
Louise Roberts, thank you so much.
Good to see you.